Welcome everybody to a special episode of Rolling on Three. I'm here in Florida with my friend Sam Meany, owner of Broward Motorsports, largest motorsports dealer in Southeast Florida. So Sam, why power sports?
Great question. As a little kid, it was times were a little tough, and I started working at the age of 12 years old. And there was a local jet ski shop. Actually, they only did personal watercraft. And I ride my bicycle there after school every day and just sweep the floors and do whatever I can do to make a few bucks to help pay for school. And I started doing it at the age of 12 and stuck with it all throughout my middle school and through high school. And my dream was always to have my own store as I got older. And I stayed working my way up through the ranks in the dealership level and got to the point where I was able to put some money away over time and found a store that was in trouble. It was actually going out of business. It was a smaller store. And I was able to pick it up for not a whole lot of money.
That's good. Well, that's always a good way of doing business. I know that you are a professional jet skier, and what was all of that brought you into that whole love for that?
So that was pretty interesting. Again, at the age of 12, I'm working at a jet ski store, and we were right there on a lake. So every time they'd rebuild the engine on like a stand-up, they were 440s, 550s back in the day. This is, we're talking 1985. They'd say, hey, we just rebuilt this engine, can you go ride it for an hour just to break it in? Okay, I'd roll it out, ride it for an hour, bring it back, they got the next one ready, can you go ride this one? So after doing that a lot, I got really, really good. And then within the year of me being there, they said, hey, there's a race coming up, what do you think about racing in it? I said, yeah, I'll try it, And went out and raced, and the way racing was back then, it wasn't by age, it was either novice, expert, pro, and that was it. Didn't matter your age, you had to be at least 12 years old. And I went out there at 12 years old racing against the adults and was winning a lot, and I kind of stuck with it.
That's good. That's nice. And when you was into the power sports thing when you were young, was it like a whole bunch of you guys together, or was it just something that you fell in love with, or did you have like a group? Or how did that work?
Well, I definitely fell in love with it. At the earlier age, it was strictly personal watercraft. It was jet skis. And getting on the racing circuit, traveling the country racing, you meet a lot of friends, and you're a part of a race team. We were sponsored by Factory Yamaha for a while. We were sponsored by BRP Sea-Doo for a while. So that was kind of interesting. And then it kind of evolved into motorcycles. I started getting really into the motorcycles as I was able to drive and got my motorcycle license. And so I started getting into the sport bikes and enjoyed that for a while. I was still racing, but riding sport bikes, and migrated to, hey, I want to ride a custom bike. And in this case, the dealerships I was working at did not sell anything Harley related. It was all Yamaha or the Japanese brands. And in 1998, 99, I grabbed the Roadstar and started customizing it. And everybody thought I was crazy because it's a metric bike, and why would you put money into a metric bike, buy a Harley? I did want to ride a Harley because we didn't sell Harleys. And that turned into a whole separate business. So I had Broward Motorsports started by then. And then right away I started BMS Choppers or BMS Customs, which was a separate division. And we started building custom Yamaha motorcycles, and it blew up as a whole separate business of its own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the Broward Motorsports was the main guy, right? Your main, and then now you're at 6 dealerships?
So currently today we have 5. We're actually buying a 6th dealership right now. We should have that dealership in the next 30 days, hopefully. And we're growing at a good pace, but I'm trying to strategically grow in the areas that we want to grow into, markets that we want to grow into.
So what's like moving the business, like with the power sports business, like what's the big thing that that everybody's looking for that's keeping it successful?
So it's interesting because the type of business that we're in, when we sell you a toy, like whether it's a jet ski or a side-by-side or whatever it is, you're out riding buddies, right? So you ride with buddies, and then the guy says, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, go see Sam Broward Motorsports. And you bring in your buddy, he buys one, and as you know, it continues to grow. In the car business, you buy a car, you go drive it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you don't come back till you trade it in for the car. So for us, it's interesting because you grow as a family in our business. You're a little kid riding a little dirt bike or a 4-wheeler, then you want to move up to a street bike or a cruiser or personal watercraft. And we've got customers that were kids that are older today that have been customers of ours for a long time. So it's neat about our business, and that's what's helped us grow. And then the pandemic was a whole different twist to our business. When pandemic hit, we were like, uh-oh, this is not going to be good for us. It actually turned out to be the opposite. People were cooped up at home, and they finally said, you know what, I'm tired of sitting around. I want to do something. I'll be outdoors. And we had so many new customers come into the store that we never had before that just wanted to be outdoors. It didn't matter if it was a side-by-side, a spider, a slingshot, it didn't matter. They wanted to go outside. And it was neat because same thing happened. They came and bought something, they told a friend, they told a friend. So they had all these new customers that we never had before. And then the next biggest problem was inventory, being able to fulfill the orders.
Yes, that's been big. Over in New York, we have an inventory problem. We don't have large problems with dealerships, absolutely, of course, because we have the weather that shuts us down. But yeah, inventory is a big thing. It's really hard to keep up. Even in New York, when people talk about, they buy their Can-Am, Spider, whatever power sport is, it's getting the service because we don't have enough dealerships to service the fact that everybody ran out for the pandemic, like you said, and bought all these power sports. Now, when it's time for the general maintenance, we're stuck.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a struggle that we have. We're so backlogged. We're trying to keep up with it, trying to do more shifts, trying to hire more technicians, which is really hard. But you got to keep up with it because we're selling customers this passion, this toy that they have. And to them, it's the most important thing possible. It's down, they're not happy. It's got to get in and out fast, as you know.
Yes, yes. Do you still have time to enjoy power sports?
Not enough. Between the dealerships and running the dealerships and we have a factory Yamaha race team, so we travel the country racing personal autograph. We just won the world championship this year for the national tour for P1. We're getting ready to go to the Bahamas for a big race, so we're traveling a lot on the weekends racing. So between the races, between the events that we do, boat shows and different things, bike shows, a lot of times the weekends get taken up. So even though you're working during the weekend comes like, oh, I'm off, I get to enjoy my toys. You don't. There's more work to be done. But the cool thing is, try to get out on the bikes, which is always nice, especially this time of year. The weather's really nice here in Florida. And we're always on the water, because in Florida you can pretty much use the water year round, which is nice. The neat thing is, we use what we sell. So we do enjoy it. We see our customers out in the water, out in the dirt, out in the street. And it's neat because it's all about your reputation in the community, and they see that you're an enthusiast, you're passionate about it, you're not just in it for the business.
Right. So it basically, when you buy something from Ballard Motorsports, it's like a family. You're investing in the family. You come back, tell your friends, bring your kids up into the motorsports business. Yeah,
it's important. It really is.
It is. It is because when you have larger companies, you want to put a face to it.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Feel like it's just a transaction that you can come back and get things worked out, talk to people, and get an understanding of it. Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things as we've grown as big as we are now. You still want to be that mom and pop shop for the customer.
Right.
So you don't want it to where the guy comes in and nobody even knows your name. You want the guy comes in, hey Joe, how are you? Come on in, and you remember the customer, you remember what he bought, and you service them.
Right.
And we're in a customer service business, and we try to preach that to our staff all the time because we sell fun, and it's so easy to sell, but you have to maintain that customer.
Right.
Nourish them through the process.
Right. What's selling off the shelves? Like, what's the thing you can't keep in the dealerships right now? If it's
right now, inventory is tough as it is. But put that aside, slingshots are really hot. The Rikers are doing really, really well. Personal watercraft are selling like hotcakes, especially in Florida because of the weather. Side-by-sides, especially the high-end side-by-sides, the high lifter editions, things like that are doing really well. Two-wheel motorcycles, not as strong as some of the other things. But overall, really whatever comes in is going out the door.
Okay, all right. And customization, you guys are doing like, I got a bike, I want this, that, add this, hook it up, I want it 6 inches taller, 10 inches lower, all of
So
that.
it's interesting because when it comes to these toys, to customers, Money's the Logic, they want to get their toy, they want to deck it out, they want to be the coolest guy out there.
Yeah.
They go out, they see their buddy who's got a few things done to his, they come back, they want to beat him, and it's kind of like, the Razor 900 came out, you came and bought it. The next year the Razor 1000 came out, you come back, oh, I have to have 1000. I can't have a 900. And it's just a trickle effect. That's the way these customers are. They love their toys, and they want to have the best. And especially when you're in Florida, it's all about the bling bling. South Florida is all about the bling bling.
Yeah. Well, I'm going through that now. I'm spending way too much money on my toys. So I gotta keep it a secret. But yes,
that's a good habit.
Everybody wants their stuff blinged
Not
out.
a bad habit, it's a good habit.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse, but now, I see all these toys here now, I'm like, do I need a second one, or I better not?
You always do.
Yeah.
Don't tell you what.
Absolutely. So when it comes to Broward Motorsports, 5 dealerships going in 6, what's the future like? What do you see the future in the power sports industry before I actually what your future is? Like just the
Well, growth is always what I'm looking for. I'm very goal oriented. I always want to win. I always want to be the best. And growing. I mean, really, we've got a great operation, and I feel comfortable that we are able to grow and still run a good operation. The hardest thing was when we had one store going to two stores.
Mhm.
That was the hardest thing for me to accomplish and understand how can I be at two places at one time.
Right.
And once I realized, hey, these big companies do it, how do they do it? And then I started putting it together and putting a system in place that when we went to 2 to 3, it wasn't so hard. And to 4, it really wasn't so hard. We already had a plan, and we just had to implement it in every store. And all of our stores run the same. And I truly feel today we can grow as much as we want to, because now we have a system that we know works, and we've got a phenomenal team. You know, the team that we have is why we're successful. And I will tell you that it took a long time to build what we have today, but we've got the best guys in the industry, passionate about what they do, care about the customer, care about the business at the same time, and they always do what's right. And everybody makes mistakes, including us. But as long as we stand behind ourselves, fix it, move on, make sure the customer's happy. And I think that's what set us apart from a lot of our competition, is that we've grown in so many different directions. Yes, we're a motorsports dealership, but we've grown into customizing, the bicycle business, racing, so many different directions that we're not just your normal dealership. And I think that's what sets us apart from the rest.
So the future of Broward Motorsports and all the others is just taking on everything?
Just keep growing. I mean, there's the different territories I'd like to start going into in Florida.
Mhm.
It could be outside of Florida. You know, my kids are getting older now, so they're to the point where they're starting to help out at the dealership level. And having their support makes it a lot easier for me to do more and grow the company. So I feel good about that.
All right, well, maybe then they'll take over and you can have some more fun on the power sports.
That would be nice.
I guess Broward Motorsports is a family business.
It is. It
All
is.
families.
My wife's involved. Both my kids are involved. And it just has. I want to say the majority of the employees there are family. You know, people that have been there for a long time. I consider family.
Okay, all right, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, what's in here? He's got a whole plethora of toys in here. This place is huge. But so we talked about this wonderful gift you got from BRP. Called you up, said there's something coming for you. Pull up. There's a nice, beautiful spider for you. When BRP sends a gift to my house, the box is usually about this big. So I'm gonna be talking to BRP.
Oh, you don't get like a spider or a Riker or something?
No, my boxes are very small.
Smaller?
My boxes are very small, but I love them. They're good company. They treat me well.
I know people. I will hook you up. I'll make a phone call for you. I got you.
You heard it from the man here. You heard it from the man here. But you know that's it. So listen, somebody's out in Florida. They want to pick up a nice toy, as you would say, jet ski, Riker, spider, whatever it is. Where are they going? Where can they pick it up? Tell me about the dealership.
So Broward Motorsports is located in 5 locations currently. We've got Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Tequesta, and Hope Sound, which we call the Treasure Coast Market. And we're getting ready to take over a store in Stewart. So we're pretty much spread out between Broward County, Palm Beach County, Martin County, and growing. So I think we've got you covered no matter where you are.
Perfect. That's good. So if anybody out there, they want to get their toy, you got the spots. We let you know, pick it up. Thank you for having me. This was wonderful. One last thing. What's the future for Sam?
Continue growing, and keep on building up the company. And we want to be a household name wherever you are.
Perfect. I'm Keith. This is Rolling on 3 Special Edition Podcast. And check me out, watch me out on all streaming platforms. Thank you to my friends at Showchrome for setting this whole thing up for me. And Sam, you've been a wonderful guest. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.